Hey guys, it's Kyle and Shannon here at K&S Get Out. We're back out at the land again today. Got a few tasks, a couple things we want to talk to you about, and considering touring the barn. You guys had a lot of feedback on the last one whenever we showed you the house, and you did a great job at giving us your opinion. We appreciate that greatly.
It's got to come down, by the way. You can all see that now.
Yeah, it's real bad. Today it's super windy out here. We've got a big storm blowing in this evening, so we're actually trying to kind of get around to doing this fairly quickly so that we can not get stormed on out here. Hopefully you don't hear too much wind and you guys can make out what we're saying. So we're gonna go ahead and grab the trail cam. We actually have something kind of interesting on it that we came out in the middle of the week to pull the car and get the files off, and yeah, we got something a little concerning we'll talk to you about closer to the end of the video, but you know, I'm very thankful we have the trail cam. I think now we're gonna get like 30 more, and we're gonna get the SIM card enabled one so that we can
spy on everything out here. I
don't know.
Keep
an eye on things. You know, I also may have brought out my new tool that we mentioned in the last video. There's a limb that's down up here and I've been chomping at the bit, and yes, a lot of you guessed it, I have not had a chainsaw before because I've had no need. We have one tree at home that we planted, and obviously it doesn't need trimming. It's only like, what, 8 or 9 years old? Yeah.
Maybe 9.
So not really a need for a chainsaw. I mean, does anybody have chainsaws even though you don't need them? Probably so, and I wanted to, but now I actually have a need for it, so we'll get that guy out, tell you a little story about the fun I had with that, and maybe cut up just a little bit of that limb that's down. We'll see. So over here is that branch that came down in our last storm, kind of windstorm or whatever, and it's been driving me nuts. I really wanted to cut it up, start burning it or whatever. I don't know. I wanted a chainsaw and I wanted to do it. So we bought one. I bought one. Shannon let me buy one. But I've had my eye on a Husqvarna 460 Rancher, which is what my dad has. That's one of his bigger ones. The steel, I forget the number that it is, but it's like the Farm Boss, I believe, is kind of their pride and joy for ranchers or homesteaders. Recently I was talking to a buddy of mine that he just bought land and is building a house, and he's used a chainsaw so much more over the years, and he loves the Echo CS-590 Timberwolf. And so I got to looking into it, thinking through pricing and whatnot. Obviously read a ton of reviews, watched a bunch of videos on it. It's like 150, 160 bucks cheaper than the Husqvarna. Now, guys have had these things running for years and years and years, so I thought we'd go ahead and give it a shot. So what I'm gonna do today, we'll go more over the chainsaw in the future after I've had a few hours on it. I do have a funny story about the inability to start it for the first 2 days that I owned it. We'll tell you about that in a bit. But we're gonna weed eat this down a bit, get a clear path in there, and I just wanna make some cuts on the branch. I'm not gonna do all that work today, but I've been chomping at the bit to put this thing through wood, and I did get to take it to my dad's, which is Grandpa Adler Farms. He has some trees that are down on the edge of his property, and so we got to fire it up and I at least got to make a few cuts, and Dad was having a good time too. All right, so I'm gonna get to work. So I do have safety glasses today. I've weed eated my entire life without safety glasses. I know it's a bad habit. And as far as the chainsaw PPE is concerned, we've got some on the way. I do want the chaps, I want the helmet, the ear protection. I meant to bring ear protection with us today and I just forgot it, but I promise it's coming. I'm not gonna be doing a lot today. I'm not gonna be felling trees or anything like that. So we're working on all that stuff, learning, researching, so bear with me. Gloves and glasses. So I know this isn't really an ideal chainsaw for this work. We're still looking at a little bit smaller one we can use for limbing, and we've got an idea, got our eyes on one, but this will do it. Again, I'm not gonna cut the whole thing, but it's just what I wanna do. Yeah, I could totally get used to this.
That's pretty amazing. What'd you think of that?
That's a lot of fun. It's a big tree, so once we get up to those branches, it's quite a bit, but it'd be nice to have a smaller chainsaw to first come through and delimit, kind of clear a path. That was not ideal. That is not how I would like to have addressed it, but I wanted to use the chainsaw. Got some good cuts in, broke a sweat, feel a little worked for the day. I'm very pleased with it. The saw runs like a top, does a great job. I ran my dad's Husqvarna 460, Grandpa Adler Farms. I mean, obviously it's a great saw. He got a heck of a deal on it. I think my uncle actually sold it to him for dirt cheap, and I was like, hey, you only have like 8 chainsaws. Maybe I could have that one. Nah, he couldn't pass that deal up, and I don't blame him. But for $150-ish cheaper, this thing's a beast, man. Cut right through that stuff. I think this is oak. It appears to be oak leaves over here.
I think it's oak based on all of this over here.
Yeah. Oh yeah, came off that guy. Yeah, that's oak. So I mean, yeah, those are 10 to 14 inches thick, or in diameter, and this thing's cutting right through them. Once all this, truly dies out a little better, we can kind of drag some of this stuff out, get better access. This end over here is actually leaning up into a cedar tree that it came down on. So I got to think through the best way to do that without collapsing it right in front of me or on the saw. Or yeah, we'll figure that part out. But I got to run it for a little bit today. This is another dream come true. Want to do a whole lot more of this. So this has driven us nuts for quite a while. I know you can't see it all the way over there, but this is hanging from a tiny little rope. I don't know what they had, some kind of swing or something. And so it's been hanging on to it. So we walk under that direction to get back to the barn, and I've always been wary that that's gonna come down. I tried to do a karate kick on it one time, but it didn't come out of the rope. So now that I have my chainsaw, I'm gonna try to kind of break it down here at the bottom so that it can swing out of it. It's gonna be a little bit dangerous. We got everything clear. We're gonna keep an eye on it. And hopefully we can get rid of this guy and not have to worry about it falling on us anymore. Yeah, I mean, I could potentially press it up and over that way. The problem is, once it's undone on its pivot point down there, it may come back on me this direction. And I feel like because, I mean, it's just a perfect notch that this rope is up in, and there's no letting go. So either the rope's gonna break or I don't know. So we're gonna see if we can eliminate that today.
Do you need to be on that side or this side of the...
Well, I need to cut these 2 limbs off right here, and then I'll probably come back over here, clear some of these thorns out. The thing is, if it comes down and hits on that elbow, I'm not completely certain if then it's going to continue to pull over this way or if it'll go that way. I think it'll go that way because of that angle.
Well, I'm worried about those 2 limbs up high
I'm cutting those
swinging
down.
back and hitting you. Oh, that's what you're going to cut down.
That's where I'm starting right now.
Okay.
Yeah, and don't do this at home. You shouldn't cut this high above your head. I know that, but we don't have a pole saw. I don't know. I may just be able to
Kyle's
break this guy
8 feet
off.
tall, so it's okay. Like better.
Not worried about that one. Let's see if I can press it out now that it's kind of changed the angle up there.
That's not what I thought you were going to do at all. I didn't understand your explanation whatsoever.
Well, by dropping it down, I was trying to get this more upright and vertical. And it does look like if I press it from that side, I may be able to flip it out of that loop.
I see.
Can you pull my chainsaw back just a little bit, please? Ta-da! Finally.
And she's down. That makes a big difference.
It does. We'll clean that up later.
He's so cute with his chainsaw.
This one?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is where the, this is obviously the barn entrance. The big door's down there. We'll show you that, but this is where we had the squatters. I thought there was more than that. I guess, well, it goes on down.
Well, there is a lot of trash all over. Like, it's just kind of spread out all over the place.
Yeah, I think it goes in through the barn to where the mattress and the box springs are.
Oh, we haven't shown him this yet.
What's that?
That tree that's kind of all over the place, blocking us from getting in there.
Yeah.
Honestly, we haven't even walked down there that much.
No, I think we came down here back in February. Man, the backside of that's in a little bit worse shape than I thought.
Yeah, definitely needs some repairs.
It's rotted out up in the top left there. Yeah, the best way to get in there is not extremely apparent. All of these right here are thorns. I don't really know what's going on over there with that big bundle. I assume maybe that's something that grew up into whatever part of the barn came down right there with it, but I don't know. I'm not sure if I go tugging on one piece of that, if the whole thing will come or if it's separate. But yeah, that's just a thorn bush, like hardcore.
So, after assessing this a little bit, we may need to either go around on the other side to enter, or this whole barn thing may not be happening today. There are wasps in there, and now that we're a little bit closer, we're realizing it's a lot more dilapidated than we realized. So we're gonna do some assessing and see what we can find.
Yeah, and I don't know, I'm not really sure why the wasps are all agitated, but there's some nests up on the front of the house that they're the red wasps. Back here, I've only seen the black ones so far, but I would hate to get inside the barn and be contained, and then they decide to attack and we take on 30, 40 stings. You would witness me die on camera.
We don't want that to happen.
Yeah, I have a childhood trauma story from a wasp, and so I have a bit of a fear of them. You know, fun stuff.
So I might be taking the lead on this one. We'll see. This is in pretty bad shape.
Yeah. I'm nervous about that. I mean, I can tell just by looking at it. See if I can back up here.
So
This is, I think I am level with Earth right now. As you can tell, it is sagged to the right. And if you look right over here, there's part of the support structure now. So I originally had thought it was just the roof that had shifted, like just that side of the roof, but it is not.
it's totally leaning on that tree right there. You can see where it's like
No,
notched out the roof a little bit, and it is 100% sitting on that tree, and that's where this branch is coming from. So I originally didn't think it was going to be this bad the first time I kind of peeked in there, but it is definitely a different story once we get inside. So as you can see, the floor for the upstairs is completely rotted out. You can see sunlight through there. And we thought at first that those boards were not in that bad of shape, but I am pretty sure it's worse off than we originally thought. Zoom in a little bit here. That's a lot of sunlight coming through there, guys. Maybe an old barn door over there or something. And you can see there is just crap all over the floor in here.
Love the barn. The barn is gorgeous. I love the look. I mean, it fits like a classic barn. I am really nervous that it's not something I'm capable of fixing. I would definitely be more likely to have a quote from somebody to see if they can jack it up, somehow fix the structure. You know, I don't know how good of a job they did on excavating underneath it, and maybe that's part of the problem here. But I think also you can just kind of tell by the water damage down around the bottom that, you know, this is at the bottom of a hill, like a pretty good hill. So I think all the water rushes down here and just beats on the side of this thing. And I think that's probably what has a lot to do with the lack of structural integrity. Obviously this isn't as crucial to, you know, where we're gonna live or whatever compared to the house. So maybe someday, like I said, we'll get a quote, see if there's something that can be done affordably. You know, obviously we gotta weigh the cost versus rebuilding a different barn. I don't know. So yeah, a little letdown. We didn't really notice it. We haven't really stood straight on very much. And then we were over around the back side trying to figure out how we could get in the back. And I was like, you know, I don't think it's just the roof that's sagging over there, it's the whole barn. And so that tree being the 100% a big part of the support that's holding the thing up. So I don't want to spend too much time inside it yet until we have a professional tell us that, yeah, that's super dangerous, don't do that.
Or yes, it's okay, you can go in there.
Yeah, but I mean, that's a little walnut tree. It clearly, I don't know how long it's been supporting the barn, but it has hurt the tree. I mean, there's some leaves way up in the top and there's still some walnuts in it, but yeah, I don't like that at all. Darn.
Well, and this branch that's coming out right here, that is coming underneath the roof line and making its way out. So
yeah, that may be part of what caught it.
I don't know. I love the barn. I think it's super cute, but if it's not salvageable, then it's not salvageable. There's not a lot we can do about that.
Yeah, I'm not keeping an expensive piece of farming equipment in there, tractor or
They could possibly
side by
fall
side.
down on it.
Yeah, I mean, we'll get insurance on those things, but if we know it's not structurally sound, it's probably not the best idea to risk it.
So I'm finding a lot of really weird but cool things out here. A lot of random things just growing in different places. So Kyle spotted this. He said it's a mushroom. It's really weird and creepy looking. I mean, it's going to make such a big difference when we can get a brush hog and cut down a bunch of this stuff. And then I think that the cleanup is going to be a lot easier. So like all of these down trees and limbs and everything that's fallen, it's just going to make it a lot easier.
We might have on Saturday had a little extra time before heading to, or no, Friday before
Friday.
heading to Kansas City. We might have gone to our local Kubota dealership in town and actually drove the one that, I over-research, and so I've got it limited to different models and things. And ironically, the salesperson owns the step up from the one we were looking at. And I said, oh man, that's like the number one thing people try to answer is what tractor should I get? And the most common answer is always, well, it depends, and then you go into what do you want to do with it? How much land do you have? And he let us drive one. We put a quick hitch on it. We picked up a box blade. you know, put some numbers together.
I got to drive it, guys. Like that was a surprise. I wasn't expecting to drive a tractor, but he was like, hop on up there. Like, try it out, see if you like it. It was fun.
It might have been a little bit of a sales strategy too, because she hops on and then he and I are like, hey, good work, you get her on it and she'll enjoy it, then we can speed up that process a bit faster. So that's obviously a big purchase. You know, this is not land that can be tamed with, like my dad's, Grandpa Adler Farms, I think he's got an 18 horsepower Kubota. That would not do very much out here. The big thing for us is we're gonna have to cut into this little slope over here so that we can get the tractor up here. We want to cut trails so that we can access more of the land. I'd like to be able to have a tractor big enough to help with some of the clearing. I know it's not the fastest, most efficient way to do it, but you know, if we're just kind of doing it piecewise and going through and really planning out like what we want to do, taking it one day at a time, one project at a time, then I would like to have equipment that we own that we can do that with. And then if we see, you know, we've got an 8-hour project that if we just rented a skid steer or, you know, dozer or whatever, then we could plow through 10 times more work with something that big. But got to have a tractor. It's going to have to be pretty good sized. We know which one we want. We're going to have to sell probably a limb or two, not off a tree, but we might have to do that to get a hold of it. So stay tuned for that. After inspecting the barn a little more, it's clear that it may not be safe for us to be in there. So we are not going to go in the barn today. Instead, we're just going to take a little stroll down this logging trail. Got the chainsaw with me, so if we feel so led to cut a couple little branches that might be in the way, we might do that. But yeah, we'll take a look at this, show you some of the little cool retaining wall things they built out of rock some years ago.
Here we go. This is all really grown up over here. Not really sure what this is. Once you get back here, it's not nearly as tall. I'm sure it has a lot to do with the tree coverage. Oh, look at that tree that fell.
Mm-hmm.
Where did that fall from? That's interesting. It's like wedged in there. Okay, so over here, you can kind of see, I know it's going to be hard to tell that the ground drops down, but you see all these rocks over here. That has a lot to do with this trail that I think that they pushed up over here to do some logging on this property. It kind of stair steps down in a couple different sections. So we'll see if we can get a better angle or a better view of that. You can kind of see over here, a little retaining wall-ish. Oh, check this out. This is terrifying. Those are thorns coming off of these trees. What in the world?
I think they're called locust trees. We had
Locust
those.
trees?
Yeah, we had those all over behind our house growing up. You
I've
do not
seen
want
this
to
before.
get stuck by one of those.
Well, no way. Look how long those thorns are, like 1.5 inches long, 2 inches long.
And I think they've got some kind of agitator in them so that if you do get stuck, it kind of makes it itchy and burn.
That's gross.
I think I can hear it starting to rain a little bit.
I think it is starting to rain a little bit.
Uh-oh. Yeah, we might need to make a move. So the sun came out, finally. It's been cloudy all day, and then it decided that the gnats they just want to be in my mouth.
It's very buggy today.
For some reason.
Very buggy.
Yeah, but the sun came out, it warmed up just this much all of a sudden, and then it decided to rain. Kind of weird, but it's real pretty. We're just gonna have to cut it a little bit short because we got a lot more coming in and we do not want to get stormed on or poured on. So I think we're gonna call it out here today so we can get back home before the bad storm comes. We don't want to be out here So, yeah, dang it. Goodness.
I know, I'm sorry. It's so bad.
Get out of my mouth.
The bugs are so bad.
I'll just spray some bug spray in my mouth, a little bit of, I won't really do that. You don't have to tell me not to do that. We're gonna get out of here for today, get home where it's a little bit safer in case the storms roll through. And